Okay. So now we will share the screen, and I'll pull up my PowerPoint and do the slideshow from the current slide. Okay. Hey, how about that? It didn't take me 5 minutes tonight. So the book we're going to talk about, I'm going to share with you tonight, is written by Jim Rohn and Chris Widener. I've also read a couple of other of Chris Widener's books, and they're more than, well, neither one of these really are particularly about network marketing, but they're both very interesting writers, and I would encourage you to get any book by them. The synopsis of the book is like this. Who would have guessed when Michael Jones' car broke down on the side of the road that it would be the beginning of a life-changing relationship? Walking to the nearest house, he stumbles across a plantation-style mansion on an estate named 12 Pillars. Charlie, the maintenance man, helps Michael get back on the road again and also strikes up a relationship with him. And along the way teaches Michael the secrets of success, the 12 pillars of success that have made the owner of the house, Mr. Davis, a wealthy and successful man. This mansion has 12 individual pillars. So he teaches Michael in the story. Each one of them represents a pillar of success that he's discovered in his life. Whoops, sorry, my mouse is very sensitive. This novel will inspire you to take your life to the next level and beyond. It will challenge and encourage you to become the best you can be. I actually bought it, and Rod read it before I did. And on the way home last night on the airplane, I read the book, and it took me about an hour, well, less than an hour and a half, because the whole flight was an hour and a half. And I read it. I finished it right as we were landing. First off, he says, nothing in life happens by chance. You need to work. The first pillar is you need to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. In other words, this is called personal development. And so you may ask, well, how do I do that? You read books, you attend seminars, you study the best salespeople, you apply the information and implement what you learn. You work on integrating those ideas into your everyday work and life. When you make the same 10 sales call every day, you'll get more sales because you are a better salesman. The only way that things are going to change for you is when you change. The second pillar is total well-being, or what he calls three-dimensional health. You should make sure that the outside of you is a good reflection of the inside of you. A person's made up of three parts: the body, the soul, and the spirit, 3 dimensions. Some people work on their physical health and neglect the other 2. Other people are all about their intellect and forget their bodies are spirits. And then there are people who are so spiritual that they are no earthly good. You function best when you live in balance. The third pillar of this house, make the most of the gift of relationships. Time, effort, and imagination must be summoned constantly to keep any relationship flourishing and growing. The greatest gift from God is the gift of other people. Relationships have to be cultivated like a garden. And as the story progresses, the man is pulling weeds out of his garden and explaining these things to Michael. Relationships can be hard, but they are what the joy of life is made of. Don't let weeds creep into your garden of friendships. And he talks about how in your marriage, when you first married your spouse, you could hardly wait to be with them. You listened to every word that they said. You read every word that they wrote. But then gradually with time, your jobs, children came along, and little weeds started creeping into that garden. You have to get those weeds out. The best way to build relationships is about time. It takes time to build relationships. The fourth pillar of this house is achieve your goals. The major reason for setting a goal is it makes it what it makes of you to accomplish it. If you don't have any goals written down, that's why you are where you are. The major reason for setting a goal is for what it makes of you to accomplish it. What it makes of you will always be greater than the goal itself. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction. You should set long-range and short-range goals and decide what you want to do and then get started. The fifth pillar of this house is the proper use of time. Every day has many opportunities, but only one best opportunity. We all suffer from one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. He says, days are expensive. When you spend a day, you have one less day to spend. So make sure you spend each one wisely. People get into a time management trap. They spend their time on the urgent rather than the important. You should spend your time on what helps you reach your goal. And in Plexus, we call that income producing activities to help us reach our goals. The sixth pillar of this house is surround yourself with the best people. Don't join the easy crowd because you will not grow. Go where the expectations and the demands to perform are high. Surround yourself with the best people, not the best things, the best people. Surround yourself with winners, successful people who exhibit and live consistent to values and skills that you want to acquire and develop. People in your life have an amazing power to influence your decision. Ask yourself 3 questions. Who am I around? What effect are they having on me? What do they have me becoming? And another thing he talks to Michael about is, who are your 3 best friends? And Michael tells him, I don't remember the best friends' names, but he tells him, well, John, let's just say. John, lost his job and he's not doing too much right now. And all 3 of his friends are not really great people, in other words. One that gripes all the time, and one's lost his job, and one's always complaining about the boss. So basically he's saying your friends influence your thinking. They influence your spirit. You might need to change some of your friends. People who are successful do not spend much time with people who have bad attitudes. They surround themselves with winners, with optimists, and people who have positive attitudes. Everybody that you have associated with has added up to your current total situation. If you changed your associations, the results in your life and career would change. And we have the freedom and the responsibility to determine who we associate with. And that will have a big impact on how our journey goes. 7, and this was one of my favorites, the 7th pillar of the house, be a lifelong learner. He says formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. A successful person is a lifelong learner. Self-education is what you teach yourself. It's what you learn along the way so that you're constantly improving and growing. If someone is going down the wrong path, he doesn't need any motivation to speed him up. He needs education to turn him around. Learning is the beginning of wealth, health, and spirituality. How can you learn to improve your life? And I love this. The first is to read books. The second is to learn from successful people by observation. The third is to constantly reflect on your own experiences and learn what went right and learn what went wrong and how you can change that. Have you ever wanted to sit down and have a dinner with some great leaders or famous thinkers? Well, you can do that. You can when you read their books. So set a goal to read 1 book a week, every other week, or once a month. If you don't have a goal, you won't get it done. He actually said that this wealthy man who owned the plantation in this book had read one book a week for 40 years. Now that's a very, very worthy goal. The 8th pillar of this house is that all of life is sales. One key is having influence with others, is to have others perceive you as a person of talent and virtue. Think of sales as influence. I thought this was very interesting. From the time we are born, we are attempting to influence people. A baby wants to influence its parents by being fed, so it cries. A child wants to get a new bike, so they influence their parents by begging or whatever way they choose. A teenager wants to use influence to get a date. A college graduate wants to use influence to get a job. So life really is all about sales and influence. If you want to make more money, you're going to have to be a better influencer. The key to influencing others is to have others perceive you as a person of talent and virtue, which is the same as character and skill. How can you be perceived as a person of talent and virtue or character and skill? By being a person of talent and virtue. In other words, you need to know your stuff. You need to talk to lots of people. You need to be persistent and never take no for an answer. You cannot speak of that which you do not know. You cannot share that which you do not feel. You cannot give that which you do not possess. You first need to have it yourself. If you're going to sell a product, you have to know it, believe in it, and feel it. Most people just aren't persistent enough to succeed in sales or in life for that matter. The 9th pillar of this house is that income seldom exceeds personal development. What you become directly influences what you get. For the vast majority of the wealthy people in the world, money is not the number one thing in their lives. Money doesn't solve the problems of life. And you may think, well, I need money for security. Money does not provide security. Money can always go away. You can lose it. You can get sued. It can be stolen. Inflation can eat away at it. Making $1 million takes a lot of personal growth to get there. Income seldom exceeds personal development. If you want to make $1 million, you had better grow personally to the point where you are $1 million person. You have to love what you become, not love money. Whoever loves money never has enough money. And this is a key sentence in this whole book. And Jim Rohn talks about this in the CD that I mentioned to you previously. Profits are better than wages. If you work for someone else, you are on a wage system. The owner of your company is on a profit system. You must work for yourself. 99% of the wealthy became wealthy by working for themselves and capturing the profits. How can I do this? You can work full-time on your job and part-time on your fortune. Grow your business on the side until it is at a point where you can do it full-time. And Jim Rohn mentions in the CD that I've listened to multiple times now, he said finally he got to the place where his side business was making him a lot more money than his regular job. But he said, I really had a very hard time giving it up because I had such a great story to tell people. Well, I got this little business on the side. And yeah, that's how I was able to buy my own brand new car and my wife a car. And yeah, that's why my kids wear all these brand new clothes, because of my little side business, because it had grown so big. And he just didn't want to give up his story about how his little side business made him so much more money than his regular business. Anything of significance is going to be hard. Financial independence is the ability to live from the income of your own personal resources, not from your wage as an employee. You can either pay yourself or you can get paid by someone else, now or in the future. The 10th pillar of this house is all communication brings the common ground of understanding. Communication is when two or more people are working together to find a common ground. And when they find that common ground, they're positioned to have tremendous power together. What we are trying to do in Plexus and with our groups is find common ground and help each other be stronger than any of us would be individually. Communication is hard because of the time. Each person is fighting to get the other person to give up their ground or to come over to his or her side. So it actually becomes a turf battle. Instead of it being a turf battle, let's look for common ground. And communication isn't just what you say. It's how you say it. It's when you say it. It is the receptiveness of who you say it to. You need to make sure that you really listen. Make sure the person is ready to hear what you have to say. And if they aren't ready, save it. Save it for another day. Say it at a later time. The most important thing about communication is listening. You have to care enough and value the other person enough to want to listen. The 11th pillar of this house is the world can always use one more great leader. To lead others is to help them change their thoughts, beliefs, and actions for the better. Anybody can be a great leader because all leadership means is that you've mastered the art of influencing others. To lead others is to help them change their thoughts, beliefs, and actions for the better. You should desire and work on becoming a better leader in life. Leaders make a difference. Leaders rise to the highest levels. They enjoy the bulk of the wealth of the world, and they have the best relationships. Leaders experience life to its very fullest. Managers help people see themselves as they are. Leaders help people see themselves better than they are. Those at the mid-level are the managers, while those who rise to the top are leaders, and that is reflected in their pay and their responsibilities. Leaders talk about what could be, and then they take the steps to help people become what could be. We need to learn to help people with more than just their jobs, help them with their lives. Great leaders are interested in people in general, not just for what they can get from them. And the 12th pillar of this house, the most important one that ties all the others together and brings them purpose, is to leave a legacy. We need to leave a life that will help others spiritually, intellectually, physically, financially, and relationally. Live a life that serves as an example of what an exceptional life can look like. The brevity of life is its biggest surprise. And as some of you know, one of the people on our team's father was killed yesterday or today. That was totally unexpected. He was murdered. We don't know how many days we have left. We can get on an airplane, be killed, but we can also get in our car and drive to Walmart and be killed. We do not know. We are but breezes of wind that blow through this world. We're here one day and gone the next, and no one knows how long they will live. You can't choose how long you will live, but you can choose how well you will live. Your goal in life should be to live in such a way that it would serve those who come after you. Your actions should be the proof that your words are true. Many people waste their lives here, and in their final days, they're weighted down with regret. We all have two choices as we live. We can make a living, or we can design a life. Many people never have the courage to take a risk that would enable them to reach their goals and live their dreams. You can be different. You can design your life. You can accomplish tremendous things in your remaining years if you will design those years before you live them. Leaving a legacy is like planting a tree. As that seed grows into a tree, it will provide other seeds so that future generations can then plant their own trees. Live life to the fullest potential that you have. Rod uses the illustration of a seed. He asks somebody, he holds up a piece of fruit and says, how many potential trees are in this piece of fruit? Depending on what it is, it's almost always more than one. So a whole tree has all kinds of potential for the future. This is the legacy that we want to leave behind. We can say tonight, I have the rest of my life ahead of me. I can make of it whatever I like. There is so much more that I can do for myself and those around me. That is the end of our slideshow. What did y'all think? You have any comments? What did you learn? Michelle, tell us what you learned.
I muted myself. My biggest takeaway is to listen more in communication. Instead of worrying about what to say, maybe listen more carefully, and that'll help you know what to say.
Exactly. Sometimes, we puke plexus, Celeste calls it. We just start
right.
filling off all this stuff that we think they need and want to know, and that might not be what they want to know at all. So we have to listen and figure out what is it this person needs, and we can't figure that out without listening and talking to them.
Right. My grandpa used to say you were given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
That's very good. That's very, very good. It's true. Lita, what about you? Can you unmute yourself, Lita? Or can you unmute you, or let me see if I can unmute you. Okay, you're unmuted, Lita.
Okay. Yeah, basically what I enjoyed was that you have to fix yourself first. You have to be good with who you are, and you have to be very confident and believe in everything that you're saying.
Right.
Before other people around you are going to believe you and listen to you. And so I have, I've just kind of run into that, having trouble talking to people, because I kind of go in with the attitude that they're not going to listen to me. So, I kind of stop and listen to them, like she was saying before. And that way, what I'm not comfortable talking about might not even come up if I just be the listener and then answer a question rather than trying to, monopolize and tell everything I know in one conversation.
Right.
What I'm saying, just listen more, then you won't have to, the things that you're not comfortable talking about might not come up, and you don't have to worry about that. So.
Well, and the truth of the matter, Lita, is we shouldn't feel uncomfortable about them asking something that we might not know, because we can always say, I really don't know the answer to that, but I can find out and get back with you. We don't have to know everything. There are lots of people that know way more than I know about the ingredients in the products, all the possible things that each product can do for you. But what we need to know is that we believe in the products. If there's a product we don't believe in, we're not going to sell that product. We're just not going to. Mm-hmm. So we have to believe in it ourselves, and the more passionate that we are about it, the better sales and influencer will be. We say we're not salesmen, and we're not, but we definitely are influencers by sharing with people. Okay, Shelley, what did you come away with tonight?
Well, I guess I thought a lot about when they are talking about your actions need to be proof that your words are true. Live a life that helps others spiritually, physically, financially. I have, again, it's been my first one on my level 1 that's white line. And I just messaged her today and told her I want to get together with her. She's kind of going through a hard time. And really, I mean, if we talk about Plexus, that's fine. But really, I wanted to just sit down with her and just talk to her and encourage her and listen to her, because I don't really want her to give up on Plexus. And I don't want her to think that I only care about her as my ambassador. I care about her as a person first and foremost. You know, I think she will come back, but if I just probably left her out there hanging and just said, okay, well, whenever you can do it again, let me know. Well, then it's kind of all about Plexus and all about her being an ambassador and all about what that means to me as her being my ambassador. But I want her to know that I care about her as a person, not just as my ambassador.
Yeah. Was she your friend before Plexus? She was your friend before Plexus.
No.
Oh, she wasn't. How did she come along as an ambassador?
She ordered the products from me and then was happy with it, and I shared the opportunity with her.
I see. And, you know, sometimes I think we found there's 3 reasons why people join Plexus or need Plexus. They need it for their own health, they need it for the money, or they know somebody else who needs it. You know, we've got to figure out what that is. They want to have their own life, like we talked about tonight. As long as you're working for someone else, you're never going to have your own life and your own time. But if you work for yourself, which is what we all do with Plexus, and sometimes some of us choose to work harder so that we can totally be independent. That's why someone posted in last week or so, I think Laura posted it, about teachers. Plexus is retiring teachers, because a lot of teachers are getting into Plexus and becoming so successful and see that they can do Plexus and not teach. You know, we need great teachers. We certainly do. I used to be one myself. I know. Heather used to be one. But that is really hard work, and you have no control over your time for the most part. You know, you're committed to going up there and doing that. There's always lots of new young teachers coming along, is the way I see it. You know, everybody was a new young teacher at one time. So I don't feel so bad about teachers leaving for Plexus. Because, you know, you're never going to become wealthy as a teacher, most likely.
No.
Any other comments before we go? I really appreciate y'all being here. As I did say, this is the last Tuesday night Zoom call that I'm going to do. And y'all are the first to know that Heather and I are going to combine forces, and we're going to do what has been her conference call on Sunday night. We're going to combine forces. We're going to make that a Zoom call, and we're going to do it together. Because both of our lives have reached the point that we're so crazy busy. You know, her with her little kids and me with my husband that takes me all these places and staying up with his church and that kind of thing. So, and just keeping up with your business once you reach this level. So I'm very excited about that we're going to combine forces Sunday night. It will be a Zoom call. Laura is going to let us use one of her accounts, and it can hold a lot more people than 25. And she says with better clarity. You know, sometimes our voices sound kind of funny. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm assuming we'll start that Sunday night, but we'll wait for an official announcement from Heather. But she did say I could go ahead and tell you all tonight. And then also she and I are both going to be starting a private group of a very, very small group of people. And we're going to study some specific books that Laura has done with her team. And she said when she gets these small group of people committed to doing this study every week for I think 8 or 10 weeks, that it's made a huge difference in her business. So that's where we're going to go from here. Because, you know, a lot of you all have your own groups. You have your own trainings. You have your own Zoom meetings. And I told Heather, this is getting crazy. Every night of the week is going to be taken up with somebody having a meeting and people feeling like they need to be a part of that meeting. I don't get to be a part of Heather's meetings all the time. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. I'm excited about it. We're trying to manage our time and be helpful with you managing your time. Any other questions before we go? Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I hope you found this worthwhile. Don't not read the book just because I told you all the little nuggets in it, because it's a really great story. It is a story and it has a surprise ending. And you'd really like it, and it took me twice as long to do this PowerPoint as it did to read the book. So, all right, I'm going to end our meeting, say goodbye to you all. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Linda, you still going?
Thanks,
We'll
Linda.
still see you tomorrow night, right? Linda?
What's tomorrow night?
For the car?
Oh, yes. If you're coming for that, absolutely, yes.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm going to have to deliver some product to my brother in Frisco, so I'm just going to go. I'll be out there, and so.
Great. Yes, Heather's getting her car tomorrow night. And she's
That's awesome.
I wish y'all could come. I know you can't because you live so far.
So do we.
Yeah, I know you do. And hey, it's possible I could get mine this month. I really think for sure next month. I mean,
There'll be some good pictures and videos.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I said, hopefully there'll be some good pictures and videos posted.
Yes. Oh, I'm sure we'll do the very best we can to capture it all. So, but know that you all had a great, great part in that happening. That's why Heather did it, because she knows it's not her work. It's everybody's work together as a team. So love you all. See you Sunday night, if not before. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye, Linda.